So I came across this tag that everyone's doing at the moment for this time of year, and I thought, well, why not jump on that bandwagon as well? What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I saw Ollie over at Criminolly on his channel do the tag, and that inspired me to do it as well. I haven't done this one before, and it gives a really good indication of how my year is looking for my reading so far. So thanks Ollie, I'll give this one a crack. Now there are 13 questions in this tag, so let's get right into it, shall we? The first question is the best book I've read so far in 2022. Now that was really hard to decide on. I couldn't decide on just one book, so I've decided to bend the rules on that question a little bit and go with two books. The first book was Recursion by Blake Crouch. He has become a day one author for me. Fell in love with his writing when I read the Wayward Pines trilogy at the start of the year, and I also read Dark Matter as well, but Recursion was just incredible. I think I mowed through it in a few sittings. It was just unbelievable, and just makes me look forward to Upgrade that comes out in July or August, I think, I'm not quite sure. But and the other book of course is Boy's Life by Robert R. McCammon. It hit me for six. It really hit me in the feels, and it was just an incredible book, and it's going to be very difficult for whatever I read for the rest of the year to top that. Alright, question number two, the best sequel you've read so far in 2022. For me, it would have to be Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I decided to read Harry Potter this year at the behest of my son, who kept hounding me that I must read Harry Potter, I have to read it. So I relented and started to read it, and it's definitely the best sequel I've read so far this year. Question number three, a new release I haven't read yet but I want to. That one is The Island by Adrian McKinty. A couple of years ago he brought out a psychological thriller called The Chain, and The Island is his follow-up, which is a completely separate book. It's not a sequel or anything like that, but it has just been released recently, and I just haven't gotten around to buying myself a copy yet. As if I need more books, right? Question number four, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Again, I can't decide on just one, so I've bent the rules on this question as well, and I've chosen two books, and they are No Plan B by Lee Child and Andrew Child, and Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Both equally anticipated books. I can't wait for either of them. When both of them come out, I think one's in September, one's in October, as soon as I buy it, everything gets dropped and they'll be read straight away. They're two of my favourite authors of all time, and in particular Jack Reacher does happen to be my favourite fictional character of all time. So they are two books I'm chomping at the bit to get a hold of in the next half of the year. Question number five, biggest disappointment? I think it would have been Quicksilver by Dean Koontz. I had really high expectations for the book. I was really looking forward to it. It had a fascinating premise, and it just fell flat for me. The writing was okay. It was nowhere near his best. The premise was really good, but the book fell short, and I feel that Koontz didn't tie up the loose ends as well as he could have. There were so many questions unanswered, and being a standalone book that gave no indication that it was part of a series or the beginning of a series, I felt a bit cheated, basically. So there's a very clear selection for the most disappointing book for the first half of the year. Question number six, the biggest surprise that I mentioned just briefly a moment ago was the Wayward Pines trilogy for me. It's been talked about by Mike over at Mike's Book Reviews. He is an avid Blake Crouch fan, and I thought, what's all the fuss about? Let's just pick it up, shall we? And picked it up, read the trilogy back to back. It surprised me how good Blake Crouch's writing is, and I have definitely become a fan. He has definitely become one of my favourite authors, and a day one author where when he releases Upgrade, I'll be reading that on day one. Question number seven, favourite new author, debut or new to you? Blake Crouch is the newest favourite author that I have with my reading. Question number eight, your newest fictional crush. Well, let me think about that. Maybe Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter? No. I know. Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? No. Annie Wilkes? No. To be serious here though, my fictional crush, not so much a romantic crush, but it'd be more an admiration thing, more than anything, an admiration for the character, and that would be China Shepherd from the Dean Koontz book I just finished, which was brilliant, by the way, and I'll touch upon that in another video when I give a reading update. But just how China Shepherd overcomes a sadistic killer and the lengths she goes to rescue a girl who has been captured by him, and the means of her escape, what she does, what she goes through to escape this scary man. And I literally just finished the book this morning actually, and I'll talk about that later. But in terms of fictional crush, that's who I would pick. Question number 9, newest favourite character. I would have to say Harry Potter. I decided to pick up Harry Potter this year to read, and I just like everything about him. So, and I'm looking forward to getting to know him a lot more when I finish the rest of the books, hopefully this year. Question number 10, a book that made you cry. There were 2. So again, I'll bend the rules for this question. The first one was Boy's Life by Robert R. McCammon. It made me cry 3 times. Very, very powerful book, and it's certainly, I'd have to call it along with the Blake Crouch book Recursion, it's the best book I've read this year. And the other one that made me tear up at the end was, of course, Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. That's a very short book, but geez, does that pack a punch, that book. Really, really incredible. So 2 books that made me cry this year. Question number 11, a book that made you happy. Not so much happy, because I don't read uplifting fiction. I'm a genre fiction reader, but in terms of satisfaction, I would have to go with Echo Burning, which is another Lee Child book featuring Jack Reacher. It was a reread for me, and I had forgotten how good the book actually was, but I was especially satisfied how the book ended and how Lee Child tied up the loose ends, and just gave us a bit of a glimpse to a side of Reacher that's a little bit softer than his usual hard self. So more of a satisfaction thing rather than happy for me. Now question number 12 is a no-brainer. The most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. And that clear winner goes to The Count of Monte Cristo, which is a beautiful Barnes & Noble leather edition that I picked up, which has the beautiful gilded sprayed edges. It's got the cloth bookmark. It is just a very, very nice copy. It's got beautiful end papers here. I've showed it off on a video previously, but it's very definitely a clear winner of the most beautiful book I've bought this year. Okay, and let's go to the final question, number 13. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Next question. The list goes on and on, guys, but look, if I give you a bit of an idea, I am going to read the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb very, very soon. I want to read It again. I want to read Lonesome Dove. There's a few more classics to go. I want to finish Harry Potter, The Count of Monte Cristo, Shogun. These are big books that I really want to finish by the end of this year. And there are many, many more, too many to mention here, of what I want to read for the rest of the year. And I want to tie up a lot of loose ends with, standalone books that I want to read and finish up the classics, because next year I want to have a real heavy focus on fantasy. That being said, what I'd like to do is read fantasy series back to back, so or do my best. So for instance, I really need to get into Game of Thrones, and if I do get into Game of Thrones, I want to commit myself to read the books one after another. The same goes for Wheel of Time, although I'm not going to finish that in a whole year. I'm not going to read the whole series back to back. I want to read probably a trilogy at one time, so 3 books at once. But yeah, exciting times ahead, but certainly got a lot more reading to do for the remaining half of the year. So there we go, guys. That is my mid-year book freakout tag. If you haven't done the tag yet, anyone who watches this, any fellow booktuber, consider yourself tagged, and let me know what you thought. Offer feedback in the comments below, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. But until next time, guys, see you later.